Tonight on Cougar News, gunfire rocks the streets of Newhall. We have the latest.
Plus, what does an 18-wheel truck and a lack of sleep have in common? The unsettling answer ahead.
And see one man's quest to swim, bike, and run over 140 miles. Cougar News starts now.
This is Cougar News.
Hello everyone and welcome to Cougar News. I'm Georgia Rios.
And I'm Louie Tran, and here's the latest from the Cougar Newsroom. A gunfight in Newhall left 2 people shot, including one Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy. Responding to an assault with a deadly weapon call on Bottle Tree Lane, deputies approached a suspect believed to be involved on the call. Officials say the suspect then fired a handgun at the deputies, hitting one in the neck. The deputies fired back, wounding the suspect. Both the suspect and the deputy were hospitalized. The sheriff's deputy was released this morning. The suspect, a 29-year-old adult, is still receiving treatment for his wounds. Another suspect at the scene, who was determined to be a juvenile, was questioned and detained, but not arrested. Officials say this case is still an active investigation.
As the community reels from another death of a Santa Clarita man in a car crash, the friends and family members of Connor Keeley mourned over his death at a vigil in his honor. Reporter Mauricio LaPlante has more.
At his vigil, friends and family of Connor Keeley remembered the joy received from his dancing.
Connor could dance. Absolutely no rhythm. So,
Charm.
Immediately called Connor, you stay away from all of my friends' daughters. Like,
And smile.
He had a smile brighter than your camera light, and
such a handsome boy.
very handsome. He was just the light, and we all loved him, and we're all in shock.
Dozens of people came to Keeley's vigil after he died in a car crash on Highway 138 near Palmdale.
I want you to be careful, and I want you to think of Connor. Don't be stupid. Don't drive crazy. Don't drive fast around town.
One man believed the crowd's unity helped the friends and family of Keeley recover.
The greatest thing is to be surrounded by people that you know, and this is everyone from Hart High School that we went to high school with, and those bonds are stronger than anything. That's why I think it's great to have a reunion with everybody and bring everyone together and all the love to help heal people's hearts.
Reporting for Cougar News, this is Mauricio LaPlante.
Driving under the influence is a problem no matter the situation. However, there's another issue that is harder to regulate: limiting the hours that truck drivers are on the road.
No matter where you go, you will almost always see a semi-truck. However, in an instant, a drive along the California highway can turn deadly. 80,000-pound trucks going up to nearly 75 miles per hour. While some drivers have shorter trips, some can spend nearly half their day on the road. Since many are paid by their performance, this encourages drivers to stay on the road longer.
I mean, I understand on the line haul drivers, they're the ones get pushed out because they get paid some of the times for the load.
In order to make it through some of the toughest conditions, caffeine and other methods are used to get them through.
These guys are doing every little thing out there, you know, coffee, they don't sleep well and everything.
It is estimated around 500,000 truck accidents happen per year. In order to limit the accidents, federal regulations restrict drivers from driving more than 11 hours a day. Drivers are also required to be off duty and rest for 8 to 10 hours before driving again.
11-hour rule. After that, you got a 10-hour rule. You got to sleep out. So.
However, change is coming. Electronic logging devices are now seen in more trucks, which will ultimately log the driver's time on the road.
I mean, it's getting better. For us, it's getting better. I mean, we have to log in, automatically log in. We can't, the cheat things, before we used to log in paper.
Many of the newer trucks also include cameras. Not to mention, the drivers are required to attend extensive training.
To the school, what are their expectations? It's almost a year class for us.
Despite the dangers drivers may face, many still love what they do. There's a saying in the truck driving community, time is money. However, your life is priceless.
History buffs and JFK conspiracy theorists can rejoice. President Donald Trump has released previously classified documents pertaining to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. For more on that, we go to Kimberly Perez.
It's been 54 years since President John F. Kennedy was shot and killed near that grassy knoll in Dallas, Texas. Countless books have been written on the subject, including an 888-page report known as the Warren Commission. Despite the extensive research, many believe a lot of questions remain unanswered. But President Donald Trump has recently released over 2,800 previously classified documents that history buffs and conspiracy theorists can now pore over.
Well, what I'd like to see answered is, what role the CIA played in withholding information from the Warren Commission and from the House Select Committee on Assassinations, whether they had any connections directly to Lee Harvey Oswald. What was their surveillance level on Oswald before? Why were they surveilling him? What did they learn? If they learned negative information about Oswald, why didn't they notify the Secret Service and FBI? I mean, we really don't know what we're going to learn.
Why should these documents of a 54-year-old assassination matter to us?
There's been a series of cover-ups since Kennedy. I mean, it's just out of control. The government secrecy is out of control, and we have to put an end to it. We have to demand that it stop. I mean, there are certain things I would agree, as I say to you, how to make a hydrogen bomb shouldn't be out there on the internet.
If you're interested in doing a little research of your own, but don't feel like spending hours at your local library, you can view the more than 2,800 documents from the comfort of your own home. Just log on to www.archives.gov. For Cougar News, I'm Kimberly Perez.
Industry experts say Americans dropped more than $5 billion on Black Friday. Much of that came from online sales, but others still hold firm to that post-Thanksgiving tradition of leaving the house to find a good deal. Here's more with Carlos Lara.
This past weekend, Americans everywhere rushed to take advantage of Black Friday deals, with retail stores seeing record low foot traffic due to more and more customers opting for online shopping. I took to the streets to hear some opinions and see how this new trend would affect one of America's most popular consumer holidays.
I'm picking up a TV for Christmas.
Well, I came out to get a couple video games, 2K and World War II for the PS4 specifically.
Hopefully get a new TV, one of the 4K TVs.
Well, I actually work for one of the companies in here, so I'm kind of just checking on my stores, making sure how Black Friday's going. So I get to kind of travel around and see all the Best Buys from Fresno, basically down to Palmdale. Yeah, so it's my job to kind of go in and see how my team's doing.
I mean, do you think people are gonna stop wanting to come in person? Do you think doorbusters? Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, there'll always be people maybe for those deals, but not like it used to be.
I definitely wouldn't camp out. That's just not, it's kind of ridiculous, I think, but it's funny too, to get a good laugh out of it.
Yeah, I come out every year, but I'm not a really big fan of camping out. I'm more of just like a latecomer to Black Friday.
You know what, it was more controlled. It was like a controlled chaos. Normally you get people running in and everything. This year they were definitely more controlled with it. I think they were handing out tickets to everybody, so people kind of came in calmly. They already knew what they wanted. Last year was just what do you guys have left? They were just coming in all crazy, so it's a lot better this year.
Although demand for doorbuster deals has seen a definite decrease in the age of online convenience, this tradition isn't going anywhere anytime soon. For Cougar News, I'm Carlos Lara.
So I hear there's been another addition to the sexual accusations in the workplace. Can you tell us more on that, Kimberly?
That's right, Georgia. The long list of those accused of sexual misconduct in the media and entertainment industry has had a big name added to it. Matt Lauer, host of NBC's Today Show for the last 20 years, has been fired amid allegations that he acted inappropriately during the 2014 Sochi Olympics. His firing was announced earlier today by his co-anchors. And locally, Santa Clarita residents will have to continue to travel outside the valley if they're looking to purchase marijuana. The City Council has extended their moratorium on pot businesses opening shop in Santa Clarita. Some cited their reason is that the cost of administration and enforcement exceeds the revenue generated by the shops, while others believe that pot is a gateway drug for youth. And the gift-giving season is upon us, and so is increase in mail theft. The USPS offers some tips on getting packages into the right hands. Consider sending packages to your recipient's neighbor, someone you know will be home to accept the package, or send it to their work where they'll likely be during delivery hours. These will greatly increase the chances of your gift being enjoyed by the rightful person. And that's what's trending. I'm Kimberly Perez. For more stories in and around Santa Clarita Valley, you can check us out at cougarnews.com. I'll send it back to you guys.
Thanks, Kimberly. It's really not easy being a college student. However, at College of the Canyons, there's a service that provides tutoring for English, math, and many other subjects free of charge that many students may not know about. Jed Bookouts got the scoop.
If you're struggling in your studies at College of the Canyons, you're not alone.
The Learning Center on campus is a valuable resource for students, providing tutoring in everything from English to math to various languages. After registering to use the service for the semester, students check in at the front desk to pick the service they need, be it tutoring, a test that needs to be taken, or simply the use of a computer. They take their work to a tutor to be checked and also stamped with an official TLC stamp, should the professor require proof of the visit. A number of guided learning activities are available for students in the English and math departments as well.
The tutors are very helpful. They try to help you with anything that they can to the best of their ability. For the most part, I've been using this services for math and computer science. I speak very highly of the tutors. They're very helpful.
So ask at least 2 friends about their weaknesses and strengths per the instructions on the attached mini experiment. And speaking of weaknesses and strengths, there are numerous strengths at TLC. There are numerous great tutors and great students that make the work worthwhile. For Cougar News, I'm Jed Bookout.
Tomorrow is the last day to turn in your CSU and UC applications, but the Transfer Center is in full gear year-round helping students. Christina Arias has more.
The Transfer Center is a valuable resource to all of our students at College of the Canyons. With the CSU and UC application period coming to an end, the Transfer Center is working hard to help with any last-minute questions. Director of the Transfer Center, Dr. Danielle Butts, offers her insight to the transfer process.
You are watching now and you are not ready to transfer, but you will be transferring in the future, what you can do to help yourself not cram and actually try and transfer at the last minute, you want to make sure that you have all your requirements complete. So what this means is that you want to make sure that you get all the information that you need, that you have an idea where you want to transfer, the schools you want to apply to, and also make sure you have all the general ed courses done and your major prep courses done.
The application process can be tricky, but you don't have to do it alone.
So it's a really, really good idea to make sure you do see a counselor so you can make sure you're taking the right courses and that you're on the right path.
There are also a number of programs like the Associate Degree for Transfer and TAG that help our students transfer. For those programs, you do need to have some bases covered.
GEs, your major prep courses, and of course, we want to work really hard to get very high GPA.
To all of our students who have applied to transfer, we wish you the best of luck. For Cougar News, I'm Christina Arias.
The Salvation Army is known for their red kettles in front of many grocery stores, gaining donations to help people across the nation during the holiday season. Last week, I had the opportunity to go to their kickoff. Here's more on the event.
Music, laughter, and a spirit of giving was the tone at Salvation Army's first Red Kettle kickoff in Santa Clarita.
There's so much need in Santa Clarita, more than a lot of people know. Whether it's, helping a homeless student, helping someone put gas in their car so that they can get to work, helping the elderly so that they can keep their, home cool for the summertime. Little things like that to the really big things, helping people, with homelessness, drug addiction. The Salvation Army is here for all of that. So no problem or need is too big or too small. And it's really important that we have an organization like that in Santa Clarita that's there to help those people.
Politicians, community members, and even a Hollywood celebrity joined together to discuss the true meaning of the Salvation Army and the effects they have on the community.
They have a history, a good, solid, strong history of helping people, and that's what it's all about.
Not only does the Salvation Army help people across America, but made the difference for the life of one of our own Santa Clarita residents.
Been in and out of recovery, and it was through the Salvation Army that I was able to find a base and a home base, and the Salvation Army introduced me to not only a higher power but God, which gave me the strength to pull through my addiction and the ability to be a single father to my 2.5-year-old daughter.
Now working as the ministry's program assistant, Chisholm credits his success to the Salvation Army.
It's a 6-month program that gave me an opportunity to take a pause on life and come back a new man.
For Cougar News, I'm Georgia Rios.
Coming up next on Cougar News, a holiday in the park. See how Six Flags is ringing in the season.
And a COC filmmaker is taking his work to the national stage. Stay tuned.
The American Red Cross urgently needs blood and platelet donations and asks donors to schedule an appointment to give now. Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood. Your blood donation is critical and can help save lives. Please, schedule an appointment today. Download the Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. You can make a difference.
They've been very caring. They care about every single student that's in the class.
Everyone seems to be like pretty friendly with each other. Like no one's really afraid to ask each other for help.
Working with other people, not being ornery, actually, listening to what people say, collaborating with them to create a really good product.
It's great to use the same stuff the pros use, especially at a community college.
Hopefully we give them a pathway to have their creativity showcased.
I've gotten a great education.
I love the access to equipment.
I've made lifelong friendships.
I have great teachers.
This is Cougar News.
Welcome back. There's many different ways to get into the holiday spirit, and luckily there's a place to enjoy some snow here in Santa Clarita. Cougar News reporter Francesca Ward has more on how to get you in the spirit for the Christmas holiday.
Creating memories with the family while enjoying a cup of cocoa is how many California residents are spending some quality time this year. Six Flags Magic Mountain hosts its annual Holiday in the Park to get people ready for the holiday season.
Six Flags puts a lot of love and effort into bringing the holidays to Six Flags Magic Mountain, and it's such a great experience for everybody to get together and just put lights everywhere and bring joy to everybody.
All of the decorations throughout the park have first-timers ready for the holiday season.
And it's our first time actually coming and seeing the snow and the lights and the festivity. We haven't been here for many years, so it's kind of exciting that we got to come here at this time.
A live show called Quirkmas showcases many different talents with the holiday twist. The park has many different areas. A winter wonderland, where parkgoers can enjoy food, hot chocolate, and much more. Six Flags employees are around and excited to spread the holiday cheer.
We're just happy to be here, making sure people have a good time.
Holiday in the Park is just the beginning of an exciting year coming up for Six Flags Magic Mountain.
We are going 365 days a year starting in 2018, so just in a few weeks we'll be open daily.
Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Francesca Ward.
People of all ages gathered at downtown Newhall on November 18th to start festivities for this year's holiday season. Needless to say, spirits were running high at Light Up Main Street. Sam Joseph has more.
On Saturday, November 18th, Main Street in downtown Newhall was transformed to get into the holiday spirit. Light Up Main Street was a chance for people to kick off the holiday season with live performances, food trucks, and even a visit from Santa himself. Families, friends, puppies, and even parrots came down to Main Street to celebrate.
So I came here early, came here when nobody was here. I walked it up and down 3 times, but now that everybody's here, I feel the festivities. I saw Santa. I'm just enjoying my time here.
Starting at 6 p.m., shops and wineries around Main Street participated in Sip and Shop. Event goers enjoyed special sales and free wine samples.
I like the wine samples at each winery. I mean, I took advantage. I didn't get intoxicated, so don't think I love wine so much, but I did enjoy that.
And finally, at 7, the moment everyone was waiting for. Overall, the atmosphere was fun and festive. And even as the party died down, Main Street was left looking shiny and ready for the holidays. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Sam Josen.
Are you a photographer at COC looking for like-minded students that can help with everything from composition to the crafting of portfolios? The Paralax Photo Club is something you may want to consider being a part of in spring 2018. Jed Bookout has more.
If a picture's worth 1,000 words, then the Paralax Photo Club at COC is writing the next great American novel. The club is an organization on campus intended to help budding photographers with everything from composition to portfolio work, and often provides students with access to informative guest speakers and unique extracurricular activities.
The downtown LA scavenger hunt, and we were basically given a list of 10 phrases, and we were just free to interpret them as how freely we wanted.
And although the semester is over now, President Andres Carrillo is excited for what the club will bring to the table in the future.
We're going to have more guest lectures for sure. We're going to do the downtown LA scavenger hunt. Hopefully, I'm going to throw in a camping trip. I'm going to try my hardest and do the camping trip.
To close the 2017 semester out, the club pulled in renowned photographer Michael Kirchhoff, whose work has attracted global interest when shooting everywhere from China to Russia to even Lancaster, California. Kirchhoff is known for shooting subjects in a rather unorthodox way.
My use of Polaroid came about actually not from a professional standpoint, but from when I was a child. My father bought an SX70 camera, and I was as fascinated as he was with it, I was too. As digital came into the realm and film started to go away, that love of Polaroid never went away, so I decided to incorporate it into the personal work, which became my artwork.
The Paralax Photo Club will return in the spring of 2018 and will continue to provide students with a unique experience moving forward. For Cougar News, I'm Jed Bookout.
I've heard some great movies came out recently. Sam, can you tell us more?
Yes, I can. What would you do if you had 24 hours to live? It's the plot of a new film that has a COC connection. Here's more with George Ventura.
24 Hours to Live, a new action-packed thriller film starring Ethan Hawke, has just released on video on demand. One of the screenplay writers for this film is College of the Canyons professor Ron Mita. We caught up with Ron to talk about his new film that just released and how he got involved in the movie industry.
Started as a filmmaking student, so I was making films, and at the time we were shooting on film, it was really expensive. So I said, I'm going to change over to screenwriting. It's cheaper, and I kind of like telling stories better. So I started writing when I was at Loyola. I actually sold my first screenplay before I even graduated. So I was a full screenwriter, a full-fledged paid screenwriter while I was still a grad student at Loyola.
Ron also explained the process of getting 24 Hours to Live on film.
Well, 24 Hours to Live is funny. It's coming out right now, and it's one of these things. We've actually been working on this for 10 years. Now, it's not like it's every day for 10 years. Wrote the script years ago, sold it to the WWE, of all places. They were thinking of making it into a movie. Then they were thinking of making it into a TV series. Then it fell back in my hands again, and then sold it to Thunder Road Pictures. So it's a film that's been around for a long time. The idea of the film is about a hitman who gets killed, but then through a miracle of science is able to come back for just 24 hours and finish the job. Only when he comes back, he realizes that's not what I want to do. I want to make amends for what I've done.
Ron also discussed how long he's been teaching here at COC and why he chose to teach students about film.
I think in 2002, I think I've been here 14 years, if I remember correctly. So I've been here quite a long time. I've seen a lot of students come and go on to four-year schools. I just love it here.
Ron discovered his second passion for teaching after just working one semester here at COC.
to find a backup. So I said, oh, I'll see if they're looking for teachers at COC. They were. I got the job. I started teaching. And then I suddenly found out I really like doing this. It wasn't something I wanted to do for a semester or a year. I wanted to keep doing it. It was great because I was interacting every day with students and getting, you know, real exciting interchange with intelligent people.
24 Hours to Live is available on Amazon and iTunes and will be hitting select theaters December 1st. For Cougar News, I'm Jorge Ventura.
Local artist and Monster Arts patron Patrick Finn handcrafted his very own classic 1970s-inspired monster suit from scratch. Here's Cougar News reporter James Gend with more on the story.
They're big. They're ugly. And we all seem to love them anyway. There's no doubt in saying that monster movies have defined the movie industry. From Godzilla to Gamera to Ultraman, these monster flicks are just too good to resist. Though they have toned down in recent years, as movie companies have completely switched to using CGI and computerized visual effects instead of the clunky, man-sized suits that made Godzilla what he is today. Patrick Finn, a local artist and patron of the Monster Arts, felt enough was enough.
Ever since I was a little kid, I love giant monster movies. Just about any movie that has like a big thing crushing a city is my favorite kind of thing.
Finn not only handcrafted a classic monster suit from scratch, but made a short film featuring himself in the act.
I love that they had to be done practically. There was no computers, so it was all really there. Like, even though it wasn't giant, there really was something getting smashed. There really was a monster there in front of the camera. That makes a big difference. Like, CG just has a fakeness to it, and I'd rather see the zipper in the back of a costume than be able to tell it was made in a computer, if that makes any sense.
As an artist and lover of the classics that made the industry what it is today, Finn reminisces. This was James Gend for Cougar News.
If you stroll down Main Street Newhall during this holiday season, you're bound to come across beautiful sights and events on every corner. Cougar News reporter Leah Rosil gives us an insight on an art show held this past weekend.
On November 25th, the Canyon Theater Guild hosted Art of the Season. With an enchanting atmosphere and water paintings hanging from wall to wall, it was a beautiful sight, but the performances of the evening by siblings Elisha and Marco Serranio made it all the more intriguing.
I don't know if you've ever worked with like a group or something. It's really hard to communicate with everyone and agreeing on something and like together, since everyone always has a different opinion on things. But like since we are always together, we have the ability to decide on things better.
Yeah.
Since we're
you know, it's such an amazing opportunity.
Elisha and Marco have been performing together since they were younger, and their performances throughout the city have caught the eye of many and inspired people throughout the valley.
This is who I am, this is what I love to do, and like, you know, just what you're driven by, it inspires other people's passions. And so anyone here in Santa Clarita, whatever you're gifted with, share it with the world, share it with Santa Clarita, and do what you do, because that's what makes you the best you.
You can catch Elisha and Marco Serranio performing throughout the Santa Clarita Valley, and it's certainly not a performance you want to miss. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Leah Rosil.
And that's all for entertainment. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sam. If you're looking for a new place to learn drumming, a local spiritual center has started weekly classes. Jose Galvin gives us the beat.
Earlier this week, I visited Santa Clarita Center for Spiritual Living, where they hold weekly drum classes. The teacher, Donnell Williams, began by introducing his collection of drums.
So these are
gym bags. This one, and this one, mainly because of their shape, and they are from West Africa, Nigeria. And that's a Native American drum. And I have a groove in the car, and this is a doombeck.
This class takes place every Monday and accepts any donation. It is a place where people can come together and have fun. Drum beats of all genres are taught, along with songs for the holidays. Retired UC Merced Professor Donnell Williams has always spread the joy of music from when he learned to play to his class at Center of Spiritual Living.
Started drumming when I was living in Southern California in the 60s and 70s. And when I was teaching at UC Merced, a couple of my students suggested that we perform in parades. So we put straps on our drums.
Reporting from Cougar News, I'm Jose Yao.
All kinds of artists from the Santa Clarita Valley brought their artwork for display and for sale at the Old Orchard Park in Newhall. Jaylene Aguilera gives us a look at the event.
The city of Santa Clarita had their 26th annual 2-day fine craft show at the Old Orchard Park in Newhall.
What amazes me about this event is just the variety of the artists that you see, because if you look around, there's so many booths, there's so many like cool, unique like voices of all of the stuff that you can see, and it's like, it's kind of just amazing, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
The free outdoor event had more than 50 artistic booths, all different and unique in their own way, including photography.
I've had a feeling when I took the photos, like an artistic feeling as I did the photos, and 10 years into it now, I wanted to be able to express that same vision of how I felt when I was actually there at those moments. And the inspiration to split the canvases and the photos into this design was built out of that.
What he wanted to do. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Jaylene Aguilera.
Coming up next, Tanner Nava tells us all about recent Santa Clarita sports.
And one man took on one of the toughest races in America. All that and more coming up. Stay tuned.
In a home fire, can your family safely escape in 2 minutes?
I heard my oldest son holler for mommy, and all I could see was smoke. The boys, we never really worked with them, I guess, on telling them what to do if there's a fire. We lost our child. We lost everything.
Make sure you can safely escape a fire. Practice your 2-minute drill. Test your smoke alarms monthly. Make your plan today.
College of the Canyons creates possibilities.
It's a gateway to opportunities.
A place where students learn they can believe in themselves.
Behind every possibility at College of the Canyons are the people.
Together we focus on achieving success, one student at a time.
That focus is a reflection of what we value.
It defines who we are.
We are. We are.
We are College of the Canyons.
This is Cougar News.
Welcome back. Cougar News reporter Michele Lutz was there when a Santa Clarita resident crossed the finish line in the annual Arizona Ironman. Let's take a look.
I started training 12 months prior to the Ironman. I'm trying to run a marathon in all 50 states, so I thought it would be, a good idea, although it was a pretty crazy idea to actually do the Ironman in Arizona. So I not only ran the marathon, but I biked 112 miles and I swam 2.4 miles. The Ironman is a very tough, it's tougher than just when you hear about it. You think, oh, there's 140.6 miles. And for a lot of people, they just don't realize what that is. Most of the time they feel 140.6 miles, that's a long, long way, but it is twice as hard, or even more than that, than what you could imagine. It's a really tough event, and I'm amazed to see the people that finish even up until the 17-hour cutoff.
I'm so proud of him. It's something that he really wanted to do and look forward to, and it's a lot of hard work. It shows extreme dedication.
If you can be persistent, you can finish a marathon or even an Ironman.
Our own COC coach led the football team to a winning bowl game. Can you tell us more about that, Tanner?
Yes, I can. Ever since taking the reins from former head coach Garrett Tujay, Ted Iasenda's goal of winning a bowl game had come up short. But not this year. Zack Ferber gives us a skinny on the Cougars' big win.
The COC Cougars got set to face off against Mount Sac in this year's Western State Bowl game. COC entered this game riding a 4-game winning streak and looked to become bowl champions. The COC defense rolled out of the gates early with Shadrack Lowry Jr. with a big hit on Mount Sac running back Andre Walker. Only a few plays later, Darius Vukobradov with a near interception that would have set up COC in great field position. After a scoreless first quarter for COC, Andrew Brito scrambles out of the pocket, looking for a man in the end zone. He finds Leroy DeShazer for a 25-yard hookup, giving the Cougars a 7-0 lead. Back comes Mount San Antonio as Richard Stametti finds Darian Hambrick to tie the game at 7 in the second quarter. In the third, Andrew Brito connects with Jaron Pierce to make it 21-7. That would be Pierce's second touchdown of the night and Brito's third touchdown in the air. In the fourth, Andrew Brito puts the nail in the coffin with a 2-yard touchdown run to give COC a 28-10 lead. The Cougars would go on to win 28-16. For the first time in the Coach Iasenda era, the Cougars win 9 games in a season. Now with targets on their back, the Cougars will look to improve next season. Reporting from Cougar Stadium, I'm Zack Ferber.
Week 3 of the CIF Southern Section playoffs proved good for a pair of local teams. Valencia rolled past Heritage and is now on to the Division II championship to take on Oaks Christian. And congrats to Golden Valley. Thanks to a win over Miracosta, the Grizzlies are in their first ever CIF title game, a home game against Bishop Diego for the Division VI crown. The Cardinals played Saugus this past Friday night at COC, and the Centurions made a statement early. Nathan Eldridge loaded up and found Keith Brooker wide open for a 48-yard touchdown. Saugus did its best to keep up with an offense that averaged 44 points per game. Quinn Schaefer punched it in from the 3, and then in the third quarter, Eldridge and Brooker do it again. He delivers a perfect strike to his favorite target for yet another touchdown. All 3 of Eldridge's touchdowns went to Brooker, but Bishop Diego running back John Harris went off for 300 yards on the ground, and the Cardinals delivered a dagger through the air. Bishop Diego was too good and put an end to the Centurion season, 45-27 the final. The COC women's soccer team kicked off their postseason as a heavy favorite against Pierce College at home last Saturday. Fresh off their 7th straight conference championship, the COC women's soccer team began their run for a state championship versus 15th-ranked Pierce College in a home playoff game Saturday afternoon. The Cougars' sophomore goalie Jordan Burrow had a strong performance with 2 saves, including this save off Pierce's Esmeralda Guzman in the 18th minute of the game. The Lady Cougars had plenty of opportunities to score, taking a total of 22 shots, led by freshman Kyla Bradford, who had 7 shots in the contest. Of the 22 shots, the Lady Cougars only had 10 shots on goal. After a scoreless first half, Pierce had the opportunity to take the lead but would miss the shot on a wide open goal to leave the game scoreless. After a nice cross by number 7 Justine Hoft, Bradford nearly gave the Cougars a lead. However, a diving save by Pierce goalkeeper Brianna Jacobo kept the Cougars off the board. After 120 minutes of play, the game remained scoreless, and the Cougars' fate would be settled by penalty kicks. Tied up at 2 goals apiece, another save by Pierce's Brianna Jacobo, and a game-winning goal by their freshman Kiri and Neal, Pierce would go on to pull off the upset victory by a score of 4-2 in penalty kicks. This loss would eliminate the Lady Cougars from the state tournament and end their magnificent season. Despite the heartbreaking loss to Pierce College today, it shouldn't take away from the successful season that the Lady Cougars had, going 17-3, qualifying as the 2nd seed in the state tournament, as well as winning their 7th straight conference title. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Tanner Nava. Congratulations to the COC volleyball team. For the 3rd time in the program's history, the Cougars are headed to the state tournament. The tournament begins Friday in Fairfield with 8 teams, and it's a win-or-go-home. COC advanced to the winner-take-all event when it swept past El Camino College this past Saturday at the Cougar Cage. While most people were busy preparing their feast on Thanksgiving morning, some Santa Clarita residents decided to burn off some extra calories before their dinner. More than 100 Santa Clarita residents gathered at College of the Canyons on Thanksgiving morning to participate in the 9th annual Thanksgiving Turkey Trot. The event is hosted by the COC Athletic Department, and the annual 5K takes the participants on a course through and around the Valencia campus. The event was originally started by COC track and cross-country head coach Lindy Kane. Not only is the turkey trot a great way to burn off some extra calories before Thanksgiving dinner, but it's also a great cause as the donations from the event go to both brain cancer research as well as donations to the COC cross-country team.
We originally started it when my mother was diagnosed with brain cancer, and we hadn't had a turkey trot before, and there wasn't that many organized runs on Thanksgiving morning, so we decided to put one together.
The event is open to anyone who would like to participate and has brought many great memories to those that have.
We have a lot of the same people that have come out yearly. It started the first year with family and friends, and then word is spread, and now we have a new group of people that come out every year.
The 5K also brings current and former athletes to participate, such as overall first place finisher Caleb McClain.
I've done this for several years now. I started doing this back when I was in high school, and it kind of became a tradition. And it's nice to just have a little something because my season just ended like a couple weeks ago.
The Turkey Trot is continuing to go strong, so if you're in the Santa Clarita area next Thanksgiving, make sure you sign up. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Tanner Nava. And finally, a tip of the cap to one of our own. Cougar News staff member Deani Ellis is also an elite runner for the COC cross-country and track team. She and teammate Stephanie Martinez signed letters of intent to compete for San Francisco State next fall. That's her on the right. Ellis recently finished 5th at the state cross-country meet. And that does it for sports. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Tanner. You won't find a bigger Cleveland sports fan than COC student Joe Hayes. His love for sport teams in Cleveland is evident from his Instagram page called Official Cleveland Sports, which has over 140,000 followers. Cougar News reporter Sam Delgado highlights his story.
In the city of Santa Clarita, you won't find a bigger Cleveland sports fan than Joe Hayes.
Go! Let's go!
Since he can remember, Joe has always had love for the city of Cleveland and their sports teams.
Well, growing up in LA, we had no football team growing up, so my dad was from Cleveland, and I fell in love with the city and fans, and how even though we would lose every year, like the fans would still be pretty passionate and still show up to the games.
Joe never misses a game because of his passion for the teams, but there's also another reason he watches all the games. During his sophomore year of high school, Joe decided to create an Instagram page called Official Cleveland Sports. Since then, the page now has over 140,000 followers and has given Joe the opportunity to interact with some of his favorite players.
Once it got to like 15,000 followers, I was like I can make this, like I can start like doing things with this. And then once Tristan Thompson followed me, and then Kyrie followed me when he was with the Cavs. And then that's when I was like this is pretty big. So then I grew it up to 145,000 followers right now.
Since the page has so many followers, Joe is able to profit from it through advertisements.
Sports clothing in Cleveland is really big, so it's very competitive. So the big companies would come to me because they see my big following and they want me to advertise for them.
The page has taught Joe a lot since starting it a few years ago.
Well, I've learned a lot of social interactions and how social media is just like a lot bigger than people like normally would look at it. Like there's so many jobs you can make with it. And
Joe is not planning on ending the page anytime soon. He hopes to keep it going for as long as he can. With Cougar News, I'm Sam Delgado.
That does it for this edition of Cougar News. I'm Georgia Rios. Remember, you can catch us on the web at cougarnews.com.
And I'm Louie Tran. You can also send us news tips and story ideas to our Twitter handle, COC_Cougar News, and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Have a good night, everybody.